Good Sunday morning, my dear friends. My name is Sarita. Welcome back to my channel. I have a little haul for you, a mini haul of a few candles from Village Candle. And Village Candle, you are probably more familiar with their like tumbler-ish size here. This is actually not a Village Candle. We're going to get to it in a second. They are one of the few candle companies left, at least within a certain size, that is pouring still in 100% paraffin. So these are paraffin, and they generally look a little bit like Yankee Candle. Village Candle it is a state of Maine company, and they were recently bought or acquired by Stonewall Kitchen. And so Stonewall Kitchen is managing them from the Maine area, and you can find all the Village Candles at the Stonewall Kitchen website. You might also be able to find them a little bit in Marshall's and TJ Maxx, although it seems as though in the past there were a lot more of them than there are now, but you can still find them. All right, so these particular Village Candles, though, are not shaped that way. So these are kind of regular bowl, very similar to Bath & Body Works, for instance, and they are 3 wick like this. You see those oils? I kind of like it when I can see those oils. Yes. So these are paraffin as well. Village Candle is calling these, and I want to say there's like maybe 6 of them. I'm sorry, I should have a better number for you. These are going under the name Gentleman's Collection, which frankly I don't love. I don't have anything wrong with like the gender kind of categorization of candles. I very often say that a candle leans masculine or leans feminine or whatever else. I tend to like candles that lean masculine, and those are stereotypes for sure. So I hope I'm not injuring anyone with those stereotypes, but they are just really super helpful. That said, I'm not sure that like a gender specific marketing is necessary. And many of these candles have very dark, kind of rustic colors to them. And I think they were kind of going for like a gentleman's club, not a gentleman's club, that sounds indecent, but like a country club. Yeah? A country club, old rural-ish, old money, hunting, you know, whatever else. And I get that, but surely they can figure out another way to brand this, like the Tavern Collection, or who knows what else. They've got this like little picture here of a seal, which is V for Village Candle. They're going for a certain aesthetic, which I think works, but I think that I would love it if it didn't say gentlemen's, so explicitly. At any rate, I have 3 candles from this collection, which I found at my local grocery store, actually. They had 4 of them, I think, maybe 5 of them at Harris Teeter, which is a grocery store near me, and they were running a 50% off sale for their Village Candles. So I had wanted to try them anyway, and I was happy to bring these home. Actually, I ordered them, and I didn't love this particular one, which is Moonlight Surf, and I thought about taking it back, but I don't know that I'm going to do that necessarily. I may just hold on to it. So let's talk. These are the 3, or at least there are 2 of them here that I think are really nice, and I want to talk about those. There was an amber one, and I can't remember what it was called. Some sort of amber and, I don't know, cashmere, who knows what else. And I liked it, but it was just way too weak. And I thought, no, I really don't want to gamble on that one. So this is one that is called Spiced Tobac and Honey. So you're going for definitely a tobacco honey kind of candle with all of those associated spices. And they've got a really beautiful kind of rust color of wax there. These are 14 ounces. On the website, I noticed that they also have formats that are 11 ounces, but I don't know why you would mess around with that. And it looked like they were in a tin as opposed to a glass vessel, and I don't even know if they had colored wax. As it was, they were only $2 cheaper, so I don't know about the wick placement. I would go just with this personally. These are 14 ounces and they regular price are $17.95. I obviously got it for considerably less, and often Stonewall Kitchen does run sales. The 11 ounces were $15.99. So here's spiced Tobac and honey. I'll go over the notes in a second. Here is this navy blue here, which is really pretty, and it is called Moonlight Surf. Kind of a naval marine kind of candle. And then here is a beautiful dark hunter green, and it is Hearthside Pine. Look at that. Woo. Okay, so let's start out with the honey one. Let's do honey Tobac, which I really like a lot. Yeah. It's really lovely. I mean, it's a beautiful candle. So the notes on this one are sweet, earthy tobacco, spiced peppercorn, honey, mahogany wood, and bergamot, and coconut milk. So those are your notes. I'm always worried at the bergamot. This is what makes this a gentleman's collection, is that you get the assumption that these are going to lean, a little bit possibly masculine cologne, but certainly many of the fragrance notes that we would associate with more of a masculine leaning candle, i.e. Outdoorsy, rugged, wood, leather, tobacco, herbal. There's some various different ones like that. And then if you add in bergamot, sometimes that can go in a men's cologne direction. I'm really happy to say this one does not. It does not smell like men's body care. It does not smell like cologne, and I just really appreciate that. You don't immediately think like this needs to like wash me or like whatever else. So it's really good. All of the notes I think are there. It's a fairly refined fragrance. Thank God the bergamot is not coming across a whole lot, and you're not going to be able to smell the coconut milk. At least on cold, I'm not getting that. But it is a little bit honeyed. And you are definitely getting those like sweet, woody, slightly spicy, and like leather / patchouli / tobacco kind of notes. I don't know that the tobacco is coming across strong enough to identify it as tobacco. And if it was branded as like one of those bourbon kind of candles, you would believe it. Not that there's anything boozy about it per se, but it's just one of those kind of candles that have the usual wood, herbal, musk, patchouli kind of candles. This is very much in the genre of, from Kringle, one of my favorites, Hallowed Ground. You all know that it is. And here's the candle that I was showing you. Sanctuary. Oh my gosh, my two babies, my two precious ones. These, and I've said this before in reviews on, at least on this one, once it came out, which was this year. This was the year before, arguably, probably the best candle from Kringle last year. And then I was really happy to make this a best new candle nominee for this year. This came out for Halloween, obviously, but these are what I called sister scents. This is big sister, this is baby sister, and they share a lot of similar notes. Very, this one is extremely honey forward, but this one has a great deal of, the patchouli, the, spices, etc., etc. So these are actually sister scents, and then this one right here, spiced tobacco and honey, is basically in the same genre, almost right in between Hallowed Ground and Sanctuary. So this one is got more honey in it, and so it is closer to Hallowed Ground in that sense, but then all of the tobacco and pepper kind of notes and the wood notes and the patchouli, although this doesn't actually list patchouli, it has tobacco. very similar to this. I have to be honest with you though, these two candles are so bold and so beautiful. And next to these two, this one does seem a little on the muted side. When smelled in isolation, not juxtaposed with those two, it comes across fairly well. But these two are just very loud. I've reviewed this one before. I think this is definitely a 7.5 or an 8. Of course, that was in the paraffin, and we don't know if it's going to come out in the soy. I kind of suspect they've been trying to translate it to soy and are running into problems because it was so well loved and such a successful candle. I'm sure they would want to re-pour it in soy. I'm just really afraid that it's not going to translate. And then this one is 100% soy. This is a 3-wick, and while it shares many of the honeyed notes and many of those others, this has got sage in it and various other things. Yeah, here we go. Cedarwood, honey, sage, sandalwood, patchouli, tonka. Yeah, this one has even more honey than this one, and it's just, if this one is firing on cold, kind of in a 6 out of 10, this is like an 8 out of 10. Now, once it's burned, it does settle back down into like a 7 range. So I think that it is less than this one, even a 6 sometimes. But on cold, this one's a little bit more muted than those two. So I'm really hoping upon it being burned that it performs and that it comes across well. Okay, Moonlight Surf is the one that I don't love so much, and here's why. Because this is just a laundry scent. It's very soapy, it's very laundry. The notes on Moonlight Surf are top notes eucalyptus, lavender, and pine. Mid notes floral, marine, and green. Generically, this is so Kringle. Musk is on the bottom, as well as peach, as well as moss, as well as cedarwood. This and the notes for the last one, they look like they were written by Kringle. Gosh, if I didn't know better. If I didn't know better. All right, so, well, all of those things smell like really rustic and herbal because you've got the eucalyptus that fires, right? Pine, again, really very much in the same genre. Green, generically, but then you have musk and moss and cedarwood. Those things you're not going to smell. I'm not smelling them like at all. I mean, I'm hoping that upon it being burned, something comes out. What I'm really getting is a strong floral and lavender. Floral, lavender, and some marine elements. And somehow those three together just go in an extremely soapy direction. It's very laundry detergent. It's frankly very hand soap. I mean, it's just, I defy anyone to smell this and not think this is a soap. So I don't love soapy fragrances, and I'm not even like a huge laundry person. However, it is very nice. It's nice if you want a laundry or a soap. So I'm kind of hoping weirdly that like when it's burned, it becomes more complex, it goes a little bit deeper, etc. But that one doesn't smell masculine at all, despite its marketing and branding. And if you are in the soap laundry day kind of crowd, I think you would really love this candle. So, and if you want a nice navy blue aesthetic, it would definitely be one to try out. Okay, and then last but not least, we have Hearthside Pine, which is this beautiful, beautiful hunter green. Did I show you the blue one? Did I show you the blue? Here's the blue. See that? Okay. All right, so here's the green Hearthside Pine. I need to fire this up like soon because this is a really great seasonal candle for right now. Woo! And this also smells like Kringle, and the notes sound like Kringle too. Did Kringle moonlight? Did they moonlight for Village? Why? They wouldn't. They're like competitive companies, right? I swear to God. All right. Here is your notes for Hearthside Pine. Top notes: fresh herbs, generic, pine needle, and eucalyptus. Mid notes: fresh berries, and base notes: woody, generic. cedarwood, patchouli, smoky, generic. Oh man, it's so Kringle. All right. And it smells fairly Kringle. This smells like Halloweeny. It's gonna smell Halloween for a lot of you because it is heavy on the patchouli, heavy on the smoke, heavy on the wood. Yeah, it's mainly those three. But I am here for it. And I don't love those spooky candles from Kringle all the time. This one really works. I think it does have pine too, but it's up here somewhere. Whereas like strongly coming at you, top notes, patchouli, smoke. But it's a nice smoke. It's a smoke that like blends very nicely with everything as opposed to being like, and here's a cloud of smoke on top of it. It doesn't hang somewhere outside of the notes. It like mixes in super well, almost like kind of a little bit of a charred note, right? So it's a lot of wood, it's a lot of patchouli, it's a lot of smoke. And then there's pine. And that hits you after all of those other notes. And it's more muted. And then I would say that the herbs, the eucalyptus and the berries are very supporting cast. And I think there is a sweetness to this that's coming organically from those fresh berries. And I would think, I don't even know if I would identify it as fresh berries. But there's a sweetness that, like I said, feels organic to this particular vibe, which is very outdoorsy, very cold weather, very forest, all of those things, which makes me think that the fresh berries that are in it are probably deep and dark ones, like blackberry, currant, those kinds of notes, yeah? Which is what I would go with. And to some extent, I like this better than some of the Kringle patchouli smoke wood kind of candles. It didn't give us honey on top of it. It doesn't give us some sweet note that's kind of out there and caramely or something like that. That gives this like kind of gross, I don't know, like a sickly sweet with like all the patchouli and smoke, which takes it kind of in a very like off-putting, like spooky kind of direction. It doesn't give you like incense notes on top of it. And so in many ways, like the purity of the patchouli and the pine and the smoke and the wood just come forward without all of that like Halloween baggage, if that makes sense. And it's just very outdoorsy and seasonal and dark, but also like palatable in a way. This actually reminds me of that Nest, what was it, Midnight Moss and Vetiver candle. But whereas the Midnight Moss and Vetiver one was really damp, it was damp and it was like, you smelled like just the dankness of the moss and there was like hardly any sweetness in it. This one is dry. It's a dry patchouli, smoke, wood, pine. And so it doesn't go, again, very like spooky with the dank and the earth and the wet. And so the whole thing is just pleasing. It's pleasing. For those of you who aren't into that kind of stuff, I actually think if you have any chance of liking a patchouli wood smoke kind of candle, this would be it. And you may still not like it, but I would say that this is the kind of candle that you would want to try because it doesn't have the Halloween baggage and there's nothing off-putting in it. And the sweetness that is here makes sense. It's organic to all of those other elements. So I really like this one and I'm gonna fire this up soon. It seems like it would be a little bit of a subtle candle. I'm hoping that it projects. I'm hoping there's strength and throw, just like I'm hoping that for the Spice Tobac one. But it's a hope. It's aspirational. And I will burn this one at least, if not the Spice Tobac one, and give you a better sense of how these both do in the next like 2 weeks, I think. Because these just feel really right for right now. And I also need to take a break from, I think, pumpkin spice and caramel and apple. I've had a lot of that. And, we've got this moment right here between like Halloween and Thanksgiving where we get the pumpkin spice again, where I just like need a hot second to kind of refresh my palette. And I'm thinking this like smoke wood pine patchouli thing will be just the trick because it's nice and dry, you know? And maybe this one too. Although I'm much more interested in the pine one, at least for right now. This is a good September candle, just like the Hallowed Ground and the Sanctuary. I mean, those are your strong September candles. Or maybe October to early October, but I would say September to October. And I would put this one definitely in that category too. So I may get to it, or I may just wait for next year on that one. And Moonlight Surf, I mean, it's definitely not seasonal. I would hold off on this one until like February, March, something like that. Yeah. You could burn it at any time because you can burn a soapy laundry detergent scent at any time too. The marketing though, and all that sort of thing, I don't know. It might incline itself more to cold weather though. So just, yeah. But that's just an aesthetic thing. And if you've got one of those like candle holders, doesn't matter what you do or when you do it, right? That's what I've got for you guys. I like them. I'm really happy to try them. I'm also very happy to try them at 50% off. I will link all of the information on these 3 candles down below there on Stonewall Kitchen's website. And I believe there are a few others in this collection, but at least the 2 that I encountered at Harris Teeter, and I cannot remember. I know the one was an amber one, but they didn't seem on cold very impressive, so I did not pick those up. But I do think that especially that Hearthside Pine and the Tobac one have the potential to be impressive. And so I'm gonna let you guys know about that. All right, stay tuned for burn reviews. So glad to see you today, and I will see you in the next one.